consultations, what should you bring in when you're coming in for a consultation? What should you know ahead of time?
You should fucking bring everything. Everything. What I usually tell people to do is to jump online, look around. You know, if you're looking for a dragon, fine. Go into Google, type in dragon on the images tab, and just start searching around. Just grab what you like, drag it into a folder on your computer, you know, whether you like it just because of the eyeball or because of the wings or the scales or anything. Just throw that all into a folder, anything that you just kind of like. And after you do that, you get a pile of that stuff, dig through it again. And then stuff that doesn't grab you the second time, maybe, you know, you weed it out a bit. Think about how big, you know, how much room do you want to take up with this tattoo, you know, maybe a budget, what do you want to spend, you know, some people, that's not an issue, it doesn't matter, they'll work it out and they'll stretch it out the longest they have to. Other people, you know, they have a very strict limit, but know that when you come in, I think is good, but you can't bring too much reference. I don't think. You know, I love seeing a bunch of reference, because even just a small little picture, like I said, that, well, I like the eyeballs on this one, can really help me zero in on what you're wanting. So, yeah, just tons of reference. I don't know. Have your brain turned on?
I don't know who I used to get, it was either Sherry or somebody used to call it Frankensteining.
Mm-hmm.
She would take 7 or 8 different photos or images,
right.
And that's part of the collaborative effort.
Exactly. Right.
Exactly. I need, sometimes the artist needs a trigger, the tattoo artist needs a trigger that's going to go, oh, that's what you want. You want the scales on the dragons, that Asian style or that European style, or you want the shading to be kind of smoky and this and that. Exactly. Because without that, they're going to go, okay, well, this is how I normally do this, and that's going to be what it is.
Yeah, because especially like the thing with the dragon, there's a million different ways to do it, you know? You can do it super fine line, you can do it all cartoony, you can do it Asian, you can do it mythological, you do blah, 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 blah. So if you come in and say, I want a dragon and it had, you know, wings, okay, well, Jesus Christ, that, you know. So if you bring in 10 pictures, but they're all different dragons, more than likely, they're usually kind of around the same style. So just that tells me a lot. Yeah. Okay, they want more of this fine line type, you know, type of dragon, more mythological. Or no, you want a big, bold, heavy black, you know, type of dragon that's more Asian, you know. So that's why the more you can bring me in as far as reference, really helps me just narrow down. Even if it's just, even if it just gets me a, you know, 1% closer, that's closer.
I think I pretty much second everything you say there.
Yeah.
Every reference you bring in helps me, and trust your artist, listen to what he says. If you're looking at doing a certain area and he wants to maybe take up a little bit more area, sometimes it's not bad to at least take that into consideration. You don't always have to say yes to everything your artist tries to push on you, but if we give you if we tell you that what your idea requires a little bit more space, or it would look better flowing this particular direction or something like that, take what they say into consideration. And be willing to be flexible with some of your ideas too.
Yeah, I think remembering that you know, you have a choice of who you want to go to get your tattoo done.
It is a collaboration.
Right, and that, you know, it comes back to that, you know, well, okay, you came to me, you've seen my work and how I do and what I do and everything else, so I'm just going to assume straight off that you're pretty convinced that I'm going to be able to do this tattoo for you. You know, I shouldn't have to spend a lot of time convincing you that you know, you're here.
You're not for a reason. You're not selling them on it.
Right? Yeah.
That's I think people have that
picked us kind of in that, you know,
consultation is past shopping. So I already think you're past the shopping stage, and you've picked me.
Right.
So now we're talking about it.
So I'm going to try to take your idea and do the best tattoo, the best job I can do. And to me, my job is to put a design on you to make it look like as close to as you were born with it as possible. Like, it doesn't look out of place, it doesn't look like it's wearing you, and sometimes to do that, you know, maybe moving it a bit or adding in a little bit of a background to just, you know, add a little bit of movement to it.
You want it to look classy.
Right.
You want it to look classy.
And at the end of the day, you've got to wear it, you've got to look at it and all that, but still, we wouldn't be doing our jobs if we didn't say, that's a great idea, this is this is my idea. For that idea, what do you think? Oh, I like it. I agree with you. That's not something I would have thought of, but yeah, you know, you being what you do, doing it this long, I dig it. Yep. Or, nope, that's really not what I want, and that's fine too, but we automatically are gonna probably give you that.
I do think that people that aren't artists,
yeah,
and you know, and I always feel weird about calling myself that, but I am, I guess. We don't, most of them, if they've never done anything that has, especially any type of physical media, they don't understand that there is a whole technical side to it.
Right.
That piercing, or tattooing and piercing to a degree, there's a very technical method that things that work and things that don't work.
Yep.
And part of taking your vision and having as many examples as possible is trying to go into something that is going to work. What details are going to, and only the artist is going to know what details are not going to work on that beautiful painting that you brought in.
Yep.
And what are going to work on the skin because of the thickness of the lining that's going to be done in the shading and also the color of the pigment.
That's a good point. I think, you know, a lot of times when we do make these suggestions, it's to make that design work as a tattoo better. You know, it's not necessarily because, it might not be necessarily because we think it's going to look better design-wise, but it's going to look better tattooed on your skin-wise. Mm-hmm. And that's our job, you know, is to take a design and make it look as good as it can on a human body.
For as long as it can.
For as long as it can, yeah. So that's another thing.
Simplifying usually is just coming down to the fact that we want to have longevity.
Mm-hmm.
When
exactly.
it comes down to the details, is that, you know, these details will look good today, they'll look good tomorrow, but they might not look good in 5 years,
right?
10 years.
And we are going to tell you that rather than get your money and then we'll deal with it in 5 years. You know,
because you plan on being around in 5 years.
Exactly. Exactly. We've been around since '97, so you know, we're not going anywhere. We know that. I mean, I'm tattooing people today that I tattooed the first year at the shop. So, you know, that's what it's all about, is building that long-term thing, not just a quick wham bam. And that comes back to just, you know, being open and being able to collab with your artist, because we want that thing to be the best it can. We're going to be here next year and the year after that, and we want to do the best job we can, not just get it in, get it out, easy peasy, and on to the next one. So
not only because you love what you do, but because you love people admiring what you do.
Absolutely. Well, that's a part people don't really get. It's like, right.
Well, you know, and I get that with piercing. It's like, well, I want it here, and I'm like, well, it's going to look terrible there, and I will try to talk them out of it, and in some cases refuse to do it that way because I know it's going to look bad.
Right.
And they don't, you know, when I look at it, it's going to drive me nuts every time I look at it if they ever come back. And if I was in public and saw somebody that had that piercing, it would drive me nuts because of how it was
and
done.
You would think the person who did it didn't know what they were doing. And, you know, and that's the same thing on tattoo artists, too. If we do an image that we don't necessarily agree with, say it's Daffy Duck and we hate Daffy Duck, we automatically like Daffy Duck. Oh, yeah, you did a tattoo of that Daffy Duck. I fucking hate Daffy Duck. What? You did the tattoo? Yeah, who cares? I did the tattoo. It doesn't mean...
Yeah.
So, yeah, there are those times when you have, you know, very rare for me, but there are those times where it's like, you know, man... No, I don't want to put my name on that. You know, I mean, it's the way it, you know. Even if I do it right, it's going to look terrible. You know, so it's like, ugh. You know, I struggle with that because yes, it is their tattoo. They are the one, you know, that have to live with it and blah blah blah. But at the same time, I'm gonna have to live with it too.
Yeah.
My reputation is gonna have to live with it. So yeah, it's tricky. And usually people are, you know, it doesn't happen that often.
It is a bit of a commitment, you know, to mark or change somebody else's body, and I don't think people really realize that.
Right.
I think there's people in the industry that don't even get that.
Oh yeah.
You've permanently changed that individual.
Yeah.
That goes with them for the rest of their lives, and that's kind of a cool thing, but at the same time, it's a huge responsibility.
Vaguely remember when that kind of epiphany finally hit me after a few years of tattooing. I like really thought about it, and I was like, wow, I've been doing this for a few years now, and I'm marking people. There are people I don't remember, I don't know, I don't even remember doing their tattoo, but they're walking around with a piece of me on them, and it's going to be on them forever. They're never going to remember who I am, but they have that tattoo, and I need to remember that. Yeah, I change people's just the surface level of their skin, but it's the surface level of their life.
Yeah,
you know, and it affects everybody.
Yeah, there's really not.
It's the first thing that everybody's affected by when you meet somebody new.
Outside of, and I'm not comparing us with them, but outside of like a plastic surgeon or surgery or something, you know, like that. There's not a whole lot of jobs where you're
we
giving
affect the first impression of everybody that
right.
when they go through their life. We affect their first impression they give off.
Right. Yeah.
So,
So we want to do the best we can to give. So every time they look at that tattoo and everybody else does, it's a positive experience and they like it and it's great. So sometimes
and that's the biggest thing is it's fun.
mm-hmm.
Right.
Whether or not
it
getting
should be.
tattooed or pierced is fun.
It should be an
We
enjoyable.
tend to be entertaining fellas.
Right. Oh yeah. Absolutely. I think we've probably entertained them for pretty long. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that'll be that.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's that. Please subscribe, like us if you can, and we will see you in the next episode.
Bye. Yay.
And I'll probably.